hey, and that's your final answer?
First of all, thank you, Sandy, for that kind introduction. And this is something that goes back quite a long time. And the deal is that in the early days of the internet carriers, the companies that put stuff out on the internet, some of them were threatened with lawsuits, saying, "Well, you put out on the internet that I molested children, and you're going to be responsible for that. We're going to sue you for millions of dollars." And the internet carriers said, "Whoa, wait a minute. That's not us. We're not responsible for content that was posted by Billy Bob or somebody else. It wasn't our fault." So Congress accommodated the internet carriers by saying, if you maintain neutrality, then you cannot be sued. And that was the compact that was entered into. And this compact began to break down in the Obama administration. Obama used the internet very heavily. And of course, Donald Trump used the internet very effectively also in 2016. And of course, he's famous for tweeting away since he's become president. And so what has happened all of a sudden is that there have been severe allegations of censorship during the Obama administration that caused some heartburn and some concern that these internet carriers were not obeying the agreement to stay neutral and to just let it happen, whatever their access was. Now, some of this is rational. We don't want terrorists to use our networks. And so it seems reasonable to say if it's terrorism, certainly you can step in and block those type of things. Also, if it's calling for violence and insurrection, that might have some interpretation to it, but certainly if there's a clear path there, then that certainly is something that could be done also. So it's been a very troubled path over the last, say, 8 to 10 years, but recently we have seen a very asymmetrical approach to this, where the internet carriers, who are largely owned by, for some reason, I don't know the reason, these very successful business people are left-leaning, that they have allowed posts from the left, but have blocked certain posts from the right. And the problem, again, with that is it violates the compact that the Congress entered into with them to say you can't be sued as long as you behave yourselves and remain neutral. So their basis for this is a rather fragile one of saying, well, that's false or this is false. And they've blocked some people saying that masks aren't that great at containing COVID-19. And they've blocked some other tweets about the situation with Joe Biden and his son and Burisma, the gas company in the Ukraine that clearly gave millions of dollars to Hunter Biden, Joe Biden's son, as a surrogate for giving the money directly to Joe Biden, who was the sitting vice president at the time. And this is pretty well known, so I don't know why everybody's all excited about some recent email discoveries. It's partially because Joe Biden had so consistently maintained that he had nothing to do with it. And then there's emails on Hunter Biden's laptop that say that Joe Biden actually participated in meetings while he was vice president, which clearly is certainly a very serious ethical violation, if not a criminal violation. But it doesn't seem to be bothering the left at all, other than the fact that they're trying to make sure that it doesn't get aired. What's interesting is that this information was released by the New York Post. So it wasn't on the internet. It's on the internet by virtue of having come out on that newspaper as having had access to this information. So it's a very strange deal, but I think it's extremely important that people have access to both sides, and that the internet, these major internet carriers, not interfere in the election using censorship.
We're talking to Dr. David Schein. This is the podcast, and he is the author of the book called The Decline of America, 100 Years of Leadership Failures. And in 2 weeks, we'll be casting our vote at the election. So be sure and vote. And then if you're still undecided, then here's a book that will help you make a decision on who would be the best president for the United States by looking back at 100 years of presidential people being in president and their terms in office. So David, thank you for writing that book. It's a great help. I've been reading about several of the presidents and how they handle a pandemic or a crisis or a challenge in their time in office. So the great book. Get your copy on Amazon today. You can get the ebook and read it today. So it's all available. Thank you, Dr. Schein. I appreciate very much your steady encouragement and reinforcement of what's right and what's wrong in this country, and how to elect the right people. So thank you for that. Thank you for saving America, helping us to know how to save our great country. Thank you very much, and we'll see you next week.
Yes, you will. Thank you so much, Sandy.